Welcome back to the AAA MF YouTube channel. Today I bring you something very exciting and possibly a world exclusive, a 992 GT3 RS and my GT4 RS for a road review. Let's bring on the lucky owner of this car. Bav, welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
Tell everyone when you picked up this car.
So I picked this car up on Friday from Porsche Guildford.
And today's Monday.
And today's Monday.
So you've how many miles have you done in 4 days?
300. So it needs 1,000 to run in, as you know.
Yeah.
So I've done 300. So I'm looking forward to getting this out on the road this morning.
I didn't think it was possible to have a wing that was bigger than this. I thought this was bigger. Look at that.
I know.
It's like an aeroplane wing.
Yeah.
So can you actually see through there?
No.
You can't?
No.
You can't really see much.
It's a very limited, limited view from the
okay,
back.
so my view is impeded by the
roll bar.
bars, yeah, the roll cage, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't see anything really out the back either.
Yeah.
So it's good nothing's going to be, we're not going to have to look in our rear view mirror today.
Don't think so, no.
Why don't we get on the road, test both of these cars. This one does 0 to 60 in 3.2,
right,
as against 3.4, but because of the downforce this creates, this has a top speed of only 184,
yeah, and
this has a top speed of 196. So if we were in Germany racing, I'd beat you.
But it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't. This wing is ridiculous. It's all about downforce, this car, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So let's see what they're both like on the road. And what's going to be really interesting at the end is to see which one you prefer. Because you haven't driven the GT4 RS yet.
No, I haven't, no.
Are you excited?
Very.
Fantastic. Let's get on with the show.
So Mark's giving me his GT4 RS. My first impression when I started the car and started driving, literally the noise, it is nothing like the GT3 and nothing like the GT3 RS. This is like so noisy. It's a lot noisier. The gear changes are phenomenal. The way it changes the gears is absolutely rapid, very much like the GT3, but the suspension is hard. I'd say it was probably the same as the GT3 RS. It's hard, but the noise is the biggest thing. Now, GT3 RSs, they're not noisy. They're not, the exhaust lets it down, but this car, the exhaust, unreal, absolutely unreal. The feeling you get in the cabin, it feels tight, round the corners, around the bends, it holds very much like, you know, the GT3. They've done an amazing job. But when actually I'm driving the car and the way it just drops and the way the gear changes happen, it's amazing. But more importantly, the noise. Now, my GT3 RS is not this noisy. And if I'm being brutally honest, I'm not sure I could cope with this level of noise all the time. I guess it's the type of car you're not driving all the time. Yeah, absolutely amazing car. I can really see why there's been a big fuss about this car. And I can also understand why they're fetching a massive premium, because this is one epic car. It holds, handles, and sounds absolutely amazing. And that little suck, it sucks the air in and it's just like, go. So anyway, enough talking and more driving. More miles, more smiles. There you go.
Welcome to the 992 GT3 RS. So lucky to be driving this car. Only 3 in the UK, road legal at the moment. So immediately, you notice that it's a lot quieter than the GT4 RS. We're in sport mode at the moment. It's very quiet. Let's turn it to track mode, and still quiet. Not running yet, so we can only go up to 7,000 RPM. But yeah, a lot quieter. As you would imagine, the GT4 RS has the engine in the cabin, so it's going to be a lot louder. Handling is sublime. It just tucks into the corners. It feels a little bit more planted than the GT4 RS. It feels a lot more comfortable, a lot more relaxed on the road. Still has very hard suspension, exactly like the GT4 RS. So as soon as you hit a road where there's some bumps, the car bounces around, which doesn't fill you with confidence. But obviously these cars are not designed for the road. Even more so this car with that huge rear wing. This is a track car, a pure track car. But you know what? It feels much more comfortable and nice to drive than my car. But you're missing that soundtrack. The owner of this car, Bav, said that my car was a bit too loud. But the good thing about this car is because the rear wing is so high, you can actually see in between the spoiler and the boot lid. And so you've got really good vision. In my car, you can't see anything through the roll cage. So this has better rear vision. I expected it to be a lot more aggressive to drive and a lot louder. And it's neither. It's really quite easy to drive. And it's fairly quiet. I'm sure that once you take it up to 9,000 RPM though, that the engine is going to sing and scream just like my car. So this car we're driving has now 350 miles on it. So it's nowhere near run in. You have to do 932 miles to run these cars in. But I'm sure we'll get hold of it at a later stage once it's run in. But to be honest with you, even in my car, you really can't get up to 9,000 RPM on a public road. It's just too much. Handling is, yeah, it's pretty good, the handling, as you'd expect. Bigger rear tyres than mine. You're going to have more grip. It's not even as loud, just to give you an example, as my 997 GT3 RS 4 litre. That's louder. The engine in that is louder. That Metska engine. It has a nice tone to it, that engine. Why don't we talk about the looks though? Because I thought that the GT4 RS looked aggressive and looked mean and had a big spoiler until this turned up this morning, and my car just looks like a baby Porsche. It just looks like so soft and demure. The GT4 RS looks really small compared to this car. This has so much presence. It looks absolutely incredible. This one's ice grey with the red alloys. This is the non-Weissach pack. So Bav was basically said you can have one of the first ones if you don't order the Weissach pack. So that's why he's gone for this spec. I like it. I think the red wheels look great. That rear wing just looks ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Okay, so this car is insured for £500,000. And I am going to take it back because I don't want to drive it for much longer. Why don't we jump out and why don't we talk to Bav and see what he thinks and what I think of each other's cars. So now we're at the interesting part of the video where I give my thoughts on both cars and Bav's going to give his thoughts on both cars. But before we do that, if you're looking to buy a car and you live in the UK and it's £25,000 or more, go onto Magnitude Finance website and see your monthly repayments. I used Magnitude to finance my car and they were fantastic. So we're going to bring Bav on to give his thoughts. Bav, come back onto camera. So you've driven my car.
Yep.
I've driven your car. Why don't you tell people at home the 3 things you love and the 3 things you hate about my car?
Handling was amazing. It's a real good comfort drive. It's boxy, it feels nice, you're compact. However, the noise is insane. It is loud.
Too loud for you?
Induction was, you know, I know you can turn it all down, I get all that, but it was loud. The handling was great. The suspension is hard, just like the GT3 RS. But I genuinely felt, I mean, it's a snug car. It is really a snug car and it felt good. But I just felt it was just that bit too angry. Yeah. Most of the time you're driving, it's angry.
Yeah, so for me, that angriness and that noise and that induction noise, for me, that makes me feel like I'm really driving something special. And it makes me feel, it just feels very invigorating driving the car. I love that noise.
It wants to go all the time. Yeah. Can you do that every day, all day?
Well,
that's the thing.
Well, what I don't like about it is the hard suspension.
Yeah.
And your car has exactly the same problem. Over bumpy roads, UK B roads, the car bounces around, and both cars have that similar trait.
They do.
Your car on a normal road without the bumps feels more planted because obviously it's got more downforce, it's a bigger car, it's got bigger tyres, so it feels more comfortable. You could use this daily because it's not that loud. And my 4 litres louder than this. I have to be honest, I don't like using it as a daily. I've used it quite a lot over the bank holiday weekend and, you know, get stuck in traffic. It's not a problem. It's not a good daily.
They're designed for open roads. They're designed for tracks. That's the reality of it.
But this is 9,000 RPM. And when you hit 9,000 RPM, this car is insane. And I'm sure yours is going to be the same once you run it in. 9,000 RPM in these cars is just fantastic. So shall we summarize by saying both have hard suspension. The GT4 RS is a lot louder. It's more compact. So potentially maybe, I don't know, more fun.
Yes.
At lower speeds.
Yes, I think
more fun at lower speeds. And but your car looks a lot better.
The road presence is crazy.
I've never seen a rear wing that big apart from on a plane at an airport. I've never seen anything like it. When I was following you, or I was in front of you, and you were in my rear mirror, the road presence on that is unbelievable.
It is big.
And I think what Porsche have actually done is they produced the car now that looks as good as any Lamborghini or any Ferrari.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, what Ferrari looks as good as that? I don't think any Ferrari does. Maybe an 812 Competizione, which is more expensive. Even the list price is much more expensive than this. So I think well done, Porsche, for producing a car with so much road presence and having the balls to put a rear wing that big on a car.
I know. When you put it even next to the back, and it just
you put it next to my car. My car looks pretty insane on its own, but next to this, my car looks really soft. Well, I want to thank Bav anyway for coming along and filming. It's been such an amazing experience to get into one of these cars. Not the experience I was expecting, but it's been an amazing experience. And if I was to say you could have either one to go home, you'd take your car.
Yes.
And I would take my car.
There you go.
Well, there you go. We're both happy. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and we'll see you soon for the next video.